name's Roisin, from Wales originally, but then kind of went to school between Wales, Spain and Ireland. I studied a health sciences degree, mostly focused around pharmacology and neuroscience. It was very lab oriented, not much interaction with people. In terms of a career, it was probably not a pathway that I was going to follow. Came out to Australia, figured it was somewhere I would want to stay for the long term. Like most people from Britain and Ireland coming out here, ended up in recruitment. I think kind of getting that experience and the fact that it was in tech recruitment ended up aligning quite well with me, and that sort of link between science and technology and those sort of STEM subjects. It was always a space that I was quite interested in anyway. During my time working in recruitment, I spent a lot of that obviously speaking with candidates all day, every day, and also speaking with hiring managers and people running really large tech teams, and was noticing quite a few themes, right, in terms of the people that I was talking to that work in that sector. A lot of them are really focused around diversity. That just really sort of sparked some interest in me in trying to understand why there was such an issue with diversity in tech, what lead people to working in careers in tech, and what pathways are open to people. And there were some really, really, really interesting stories out there. There's obviously a really big demand for tech jobs. They're really well paying, they're really flexible. Why don't we just bring in people who maybe had no idea that tech was an option for them when they were 17, 18, trying to figure out what to do with their lives. They've probably been in the workforce for a decade already, doing other things and getting really valuable skill sets and experiences that they could bring into the tech sector through these programs where they get, foundational training and then a pathway to support them into the tech space. Our initial focus with Knology was quite gender specific, but that is not our only focus in terms of diversity. We just want the people who are building all of the tech that we use every day to be much more reflective of the community that it serves. It's super rewarding knowing when we get feedback from people, the gratitude that they have where they're like, oh, there's a pathway for me, I don't have to do it all on my own. You really do feel like you're having such a positive impact on people's lives. We've solved problems that we never thought we could solve. We've looked at things in ways that we never thought to look at them. I think if you're thinking about working in tech 20 years ago, you probably did really need to be the sort of person who was happy sitting quietly in a room, dialed into a screen, just figuring out how all of these things work. Getting out of the mindset a little bit that this is what a tech person looks like, this is what they've done before, this is how they approach problem solving, and understanding that diversity of thought will only end up making things better, more efficient, more productive. We know that the companies who hire for tech people are really, really struggling to get the talent. We know that we're in a deficit. We know that deficit will only get bigger long term. So the onus really should be on these businesses to solve the problem. We shouldn't be depending on people taking a risk and taking a chance when they don't know the space, they don't know the sector. And that was where we built out this kind of 2-year program where people are getting training that's fully funded by us, that they're getting assessed by us. This isn't the right pathway for everyone, right? So there'll be different things that suit different people, and that the onus then is on us in order to find them that placement into industry and continue to support them. A really, really big challenge I think for us over the last few years has just been that education piece to businesses, trying to explain what we do, why we do it, what the value is to them, and what the outcomes will be longer term. Weirdly, I think my favourite part of the job is actually proving people wrong. I truly cannot tell you still how many conversations we have with people who are so skeptical. Turning people from a skeptic into a full-blown believer is very much my favourite part, I think. We're super focused on that quality of experience, both for making sure that we think candidates are going to be really happy into the roles they're placed into. They've got the right training, they've got the right support, but once they're on site, they're delivering quickly, they're adding value, they're adding to the culture. I think in Australia generally, I would like to see the tech sector be a lot more progressive in terms of how they think about talent. I think traditionally speaking, it hasn't always been on the front foot in terms of nurturing early talent. We've typically been quite dependent on skilled migration and things like that, where we're just bringing more experienced people into the sector. And again, we need those things to happen, but we'll fall behind as an industry if we aren't looking at every single piece of that puzzle. Thinking of that on more of a global scale, if we want to bring more investment into startup companies in Australia and be able to be really, really competitive, then obviously the talent and skills piece is such a crucial part of that, especially considering that the tech sector in general has been challenging over the last few years through some really significant change. The companies who are staying really focused on benefits, focused on culture and environment, looking after people and making sure that like diversity and inclusivity was, front of mind all the time, will be such a significant competitive advantage for when the tech sector really starts to get back on its feet again a little bit.